lovely human. How are you today? Let me know in the comments below because I would love to know. I'm very interested in how you are and what you're up to. So pop your comments in. Let me know what you're doing today. How are you doing? What's going on for you? What's exciting? Tell me everything because I'm super nosy and want to know. So today I'm talking about one of my most discussed things with my clients. So as you can see from the title of this live, it is pricing, not proving. And you might think, what does that mean? So let me explain a little bit first, and then I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that. So a lot of the time, when we have, maybe it's unconscious, but when we have a little bit of lack of belief, and that might show up like, why me? Why would someone pick me? Why would someone pay me? There's so many other experts out there. The industry is flooded with the thing I do. I can't possibly charge that. You know, I don't really know enough. I haven't been doing this long enough. You know, maybe I'm not even good enough, right? And all that's nonsense. Because the truth is, the most truthful thing I know about from being in business a long time is that we teach what we need to learn, right? And we never stop growing. So there's always an area of growth for us. And once I call it opening your eyes, once you've opened your eyes to working on yourself, personal development, whatever you want to call it, they can never shut again, right? So there's always room and space for development, right? So you just have to accept that. And it's an acceptance of yourself, of being good enough where you are. And the bonus is the more you grow, the more you help the people you help to grow. Way, right? So it's all good, basically. You're good just as you are. So prizing and not proving. So what happens is when we're in proving mode, we're thinking all of those things that I've just mentioned, right? And what we want to do is shift from having that as our focus. Now, I'm not saying don't work on your limiting beliefs and what's holding you back. That's really important. But today is not about that, right? Today is about how you start getting into the energy so you're not waiting, when I feel confident enough, when I've got more experience, when I've got 5 clients, when I've got this or whatever, then I'll, right? Because the truth is you can work on yourself and serve people at the same time, right? So what I don't want is being in proving mode to stop you from getting out there in the world and doing your thing and having amazing impacts. Like that's really why I'm doing these lives, right? So here's how my 5 tips for how you can go from proving to pricing. Right. So number 1 is your energy. Right. All we have to do is accept that. If someone chooses to implement the thing that I teach them, they'll get the result. And you need to be certain about that, because in sales, which is, my wheelhouse, that you have to have certainty. Right. And a lot of people come on calls with me or, when I help my clients sell their stuff, and they're making notes on what I suggest. And I'm like, why are you making notes to hit this point home, right? And they're like, well, because, you're associated with X person and blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah, but what do you actually know about me? Have you looked me up? Have you looked my history up? Do you know my results? Have you searched my result? No. Okay. And the reason they listen to me and take notes is because I have certainty. I know without shadow of a doubt that if they choose to implement what I'm telling them, they will get the results they want. Is that my responsibility? No. That's their responsibility. But I know that if they choose to do it, they'll get the results, right? So it's not about me. It's not about how good I am or, how much money I've made, or do I have a Lamborghini and a 6-house mansion? No. Right. But can I get them results? Yes. Right. So I have to own that energy of certainty. And that's all I need to own. I can forget about all the other stuff and know that if someone chooses to implement what I've got to teach them, then they'll get the results. And the 2 things people need to buy are these. 1, you need to be certain that what you've got to have will help them should they choose to implement it. Second thing is they need to be certain that what you have will help them should they choose to implement. And guess where both of those certainties come from? You. right? So it's the energy of that will help you massively, and it will change everything. It will change the way you approach your business, change the way you talk to people, change the way you do your marketing, change the way you sell, everything. So that is point number one, very important. Number two is think about your business from your soapbox issue, and this is really what got me fired up to do what I do, right? So it's like, what is the one thing that irks you, the one problem that you'd like to solve in the world? And if that's not to do with your business, maybe that needs looking at potentially, right? So what got me and what spurred me into start my business many moons ago, I think it was like 2010, 2011 or something. I was helping unemployed people back into work. So I was doing like a little contract where I train them and help and do loads of different things. But this one girl came into me, and I think she was about 17. And she was doing beauty therapy. And she said, well, I can't do it now. And I was like, what do you mean you can't do it? She said, my teacher told me I'm not clever enough. And the anger that rose inside me. I was so angry. So a person in a position of power had told this young, impressionable woman, and let's be honest, that sort of age, in our teens, early 20s, we haven't got the best level of confidence and we don't know ourselves very well. So we're going to believe what people in positions of power and those we're meant to respect tell us. So she believed she wasn't clever enough to do her beauty course. I was like, no. I actually said, which is not professional, that person is an idiot and you are clever enough and you can do it, if that's what you want to do. And then I was so angry about that, and I thought, there's so many more people out there that believe that they're not clever enough, they're not whatever enough to do what they want to do. And that's simply not true, because I believe, there's exceptions of people with severe, mental or physical disabilities, but I believe that most able-bodied people can do whatever they want to do if they put their mind to it, because conviction is everything, right? And so what helps me is I can't stand by and know that there are people out there that think that they haven't got whatever enough to do what they want to do, because I just can't accept that as true, right? And I know that I have the skills, knowledge and experience, not all the skills, knowledge and experience, but enough skills, knowledge and experience to help them. So I've got a duty of care to those people to go out and do it, right? And so sometimes your soapbox issue, the thing that irks you, the problem that you want to solve in the world, really keeps you motivated to do that. And I want you to think about that every day. Number three is you focus on that one person. So you might call that an ideal client, for example. So when you wake up in the morning, you think, like, let's call him Dave. What is Dave thinking today? What was Dave lying in bed worrying about last night? What's the one thing Dave was of today? And then we talk to that every day. And what we do is we connect with Dave, or your version of Dave, Davina, in every day, and we go from that place, right? And number four is on that, focusing on one person. You ask each day what they need, and you speak to that in your content, on your calls, on your videos, on your emails, however you're communicating, you speak to that, because that is going to make Dave or Davina seen, heard and understood, because you're connecting with the emotion of how they feel and what they want. All right, and anything that goes beneath that is great, but you want to catch them with the hook of either the pain they're in or the solution they want. Right? Really simple. And then number five is give them what they want. so you're helping Dave or Davina, but you've got to give them a way of doing that. And the way of doing that is your product, services, widgets, doodads. All right. So very easy. You've got to offer often, as I say quite frequently on these lives. So number one is your energy. Own it. Own that energy and that certainty in yourself. Number two is get your soapbox issue and feel that. Right. Number three is focus on one person. So Dave or Davina, or whatever their name is for you. Right. Number four is ask for what they need every day. And number five, give them what they want. Offer it. Right. Anna says, hello, lovely Anna. I'm going to work out what name to give my ideal client. I love that. Yeah, and sometimes, right, make it bloody easy for yourself, right? If there's a person that you've worked with, an actual real person in real life, and you feel like you've given them, for me, the bit I love about my job the most is the transformation clients get, right? To see them have a win. And I'm fortunate enough to have done this for a lot of years, and to see them grow beyond what they ever thought was possible in many ways. And it's not just the practical things like 6-figure, 7-figure businesses, massive team of staff, all of that stuff. That's lovely. But what I love most is the fact that they may not have believed that was possible, but they give it a crack anyway, right? And then they got the results, and that's what fills my heart with joy. That's what spurs me on to get more and more and more of that, as many of those as I can as possible in my lifetime, right? And it's not about me. It's not about me helping them get the results. It's seeing them filled with that confidence and conviction, and seeing their lives change, seeing them change as a result of just going out there anyway, even if they didn't want to do it or were scared or whatever. So for you, Anna, I would say, if you have a client that has made you feel like that, made you feel so proud, so excited, it's set your soul on fire to see them succeed, you can even use a real person, right? You can even use that person, but you imagine that person because you know what they look like, right? It's really important with that person. When you close your eyes, you can see them, right? You can physically see them, and they're a real person, right? Because if we just write out an ideal client, we're not connected to them. And the connection element of the ideal client is, I cannot express that enough, is the most important thing you can do. You've got to connect with them. You've got to see them. They've got to be so real, like you can touch them almost. Don't get arrested, but you know what I mean. So I would say, Anna, if you've got that person in mind, just use the real person. It's a lot bloody easier. And use them from a place of before they got that transformation. That's where you want to talk to them from, right? And if you haven't got that, that's okay. You can still make them real. Use your imagination. So I hope that helps. Have a fantastic day, and I might pop on and do another one a bit later. Lots of love.